Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Well, hi, Antie Joan.
Hi, Auntie. What up?
Let's see. Well,
Yeah.
we got our very first voicemail message on the speakpipe.com.
Oh my gosh.
Let's have a listen.
Okie dokie.
Hello, ladies. It's Sandy B, Sandy B, Sandy B. I got a little behind in listening to your podcasts, but today I caught up. I listened to them. I found out about SpeakPipe and just wanted to use it and let you know I'm listening and tell you I like the new season 2 format. It's very fun. It's very positive, and there's no negativity like when you talked about the ads that you have to talk about because you didn't like them. It's very nice. I like it. Bye.
So what did you think of our first voicemail message from superfan Sandy B, Sandy B, Sandy B?
I think we're going to have to start making Sandy be our honorary third person here, part of the podcast. And I don't know how your friends, Casey and Auntie Bethy, feel about you always saying, Sandy B, Sandy B, Sandy B, and not, Hasey, Hasey, Hasey.
Because
Auntie Bethy, Auntie Bethy, Auntie Bethy.
Because superfan Sandy B, Sandy B, Sandy B got that name because she did a marathon of our show when she fell a little bit behind. I think she listened to, what was it, 5, 6, 7 episodes back to back doing her puzzling.
I think 6 to 7.
Yeah.
I think
that's how she got that title. Hasey and Auntie Bethy listen, but they haven't done a marathon like that, and I thought that's why she got the super fan Sandy B, Sandy B, Sandy B title.
It takes a lot of whatever to do a marathon. Yeah,
of us. Could you imagine?
Although things could be worse. Thank you, Sandy B.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the feedback. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And we encourage it. So others, if you feel like you want to chime in, please do. That's at www.speakpipe.com/pickled watermelon rinds and leave us a voicemail, and we just may play it on the air and answer any questions you might have. So I'm glad she likes the new format for season 2. We're enjoying it thus far, I think. What about you, Auntie Joan?
Yeah, I am too. There seems to be less pressure having to find commercial or
because we're so used to not being in tune to commercials, ignoring them or doing other things through them. Yeah, it was getting to be a little daunting to come up with a commercial every week. So we still do talk about them from time to time, but only when it's really exciting and it's memorable.
Yeah. Like we quilt this country or city or whatever it is.
Oh my God. Do you know what I noticed? So I always tell people that I am a Cottonelle
that's right.
loyalist for my TP needs. And Killian just made a noise because he didn't like me saying that, apparently. Is what he just did. And the reason I always loved the Cottonelle because it was the purple package and it used to have a puppy on the front and it had a towel over its head. Like in a teepee kind of thing. And I saw that Cottonelle was on sale at the Safeway this week. And I said, I wonder if I should get it here rather than getting it on the Amazon like I've been doing. And I went to the Amazon and I typed in Cottonelle in my orders and it said no results. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I get this because it's a big hunkin' shipment of it. So I get them every 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, something like that. I forget. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this for like a year and a half now. And then I just typed in toilet paper and guess what came up? Quilted Northern. I quilt this city. Apparently I've been buying that. And I don't know how I did that.
And you like it, huh?
No. See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I noticed that quilted. I didn't pay attention that I bought the wrong thing and have been buying that wrong thing for, like I said, a year and a half. Yes, I have. It's very true. I noticed that it's, the Charmin commercials with the bears.
Absolutely.
And they say how your butt's so clean with Charmin. I actually never thought Charmin was that clean, but I always thought Cottonelle was. And I noticed with what I've been using, which I thought was just what I had been using for all these years, I noticed that it's not as clean as it once was. And I just assumed they changed the recipe, you know what I mean? Whatever they do, the manufacturing process, whatever it is. But no, I've been using the wrong toilet paper for a year and a half.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, well, all right. So I'm going to switch back to Cottonelle because now I'm paying attention again. I'm going to switch back to Cottonelle. I couldn't believe it. I laughed so hard. I think it was yesterday that I figured it out. Yeah, because it was a new sale. That's right. Because Safeway had, put up their new sales stuff. And I was going through that to see what coupons I needed to clip and all that stuff. And yeah, that's how I found out yesterday. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Now, see, my favorite used to be White Cloud.
Right.
Now,
They don't
this
make
was
that
back-
anymore.
That's right. This was way back in the day.
Mhm.
And I remember my dad once accusing me of needing or wanting that extra delicacy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to go to the Charmin. I think Charmin bought them out or something. I don't know. So I've been a Charmin gal ever since. But I'll tell you, I tried Northern once, and holy smokes, it was like sandpaper.
Oh, no, this is not sandpaper. Definitely not. No, it's definitely still soft. It just leaves more of a residue than
Well,
I would appreciate.
maybe you're not as sensitive as some of us other a-holes are. You know what I mean?
Well, when's the last time you tried Quilted Northern? I mean...
I guess since they got the wood chips out,
I
don't
guess
know.
so. I don't know what to tell you, but it's not. No, I'm very, very particular about that kind of stuff. So Charmin is what my mother bought my entire life until my father took over some shopping and he got generic. My mother almost killed him and said absolutely not. So then he went back to Charmin and he stuck with Charmin until his demise as well. But yes, my entire childhood was Charmin. We were very much a Charmin household.
Now, when we had the toilet paper shortage back in the 2000s or 2020s, because of COVID, I ended up getting the generic, the Kirkland brand from Costco. And I didn't think that stuff was too bad.
I do not. That I think leaves even more like it as you're rolling it, it's stuff is just falling, like the lint is just falling off of it. I hate the Kirkland brand with a passion. Not a fan of that. I think it's very messy.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I looked back there to see how much residue I had.
No, I'm talking about just pulling it off the roll and lint is just pouring off of it. Yeah. It's all on the floor. It's awful. The way they cut it, it just shreds on the edges. At least the ones I've bought. And I'm just like, I do not know why people like this stuff so much. I cannot stand it. I find it to
Because
be
it's
very messy.
software accounts.
Well, they're all soft. Like you're missing the
No, they're
point.
not. No,
The ones we've just been talking about are all soft products.
They got nothing. They got nothing on White Cloud. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Well,
It's like White Cloud and Terryton 100s, and I'd be happy the rest of my life.
I don't know what that is.
Terryton 100s were my cigarette brand. I couldn't smoke anything. I wouldn't smoke anything else but.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And they don't make them. They I don't know when they stopped making them because I quit. Do you realize I quit smoking like 35 years ago? Yeah, I don't know when they stopped making them, but no, I couldn't smoke anything else. It just tasted. I'd rather fight than switch was their motto, and that applied to me. I was a loyal Terryton girl. How do we get off on all this stuff?
Yep. So and my deck project is it's lingering. It's lingering. between structural issues found with the deck. I don't know who built the deck originally. It had to be the owner, not an actual contractor, because it was not done well. And so we're making it very structurally sound, nice and squared, structurally sound, and also found some termite damage on the corner of the house that they had to jack up that corner of the house and replace it. 'Cause it's a ledger board. Yeah, it's no joke. So delays, and then weather's played an issue as well. So where I thought by this recording I'd be providing before and after pictures for our listener, nope. Maybe next week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I didn't think termites were an issue in Colorado.
He said it was old. He found no evidence of termites. He could not find an actual termite, but he showed me the actual damage, and he said it was definitely termites, unfortunately. So I don't know how long it's been that way. Couldn't say. He's like, it could have been a lot worse. He's like, we only found it in this one little corner. He's like, so.
Oh, really?
He's like, if it was more, he's like, we'd have to jack up the whole house, like all of it up. So this way, it's just the corner that has to be done. And like I said, maybe by next recording, I'll have some great news and some wonderful pictures to share. And then the siding project will start sometime thereafter. So lots going on over here, but it doesn't look like, and there is some decking on. So I am seeing fruits of the labor and all that, but there's still more the decking floor that needs to be put on. And then the railings still need to be put up. And they are going to now put a retaining wall underneath the deck to make sure that dirt doesn't fall and shift any of the posts in the future. Because that's what he believes really impacted the posts of the deck so significantly, was that they made a makeshift. They just put boards up, but they nailed it directly to the posts in the concrete, and he felt like the dirt was pushing up against that, which was pushing the posts outwardly. So anyway, it's going to be done correctly. It's going to look great when it's done, I keep telling myself, and it already is starting to take shape and looking good. It's just taking much longer than all of us anticipated.
Anytime you buy a used home and there's been stuff done to it, added to it, you just never really know what you're getting. That back porch, I call it my back porch, but it was supposed to be like a sunroom. I mean, they didn't even put real footings in there. They just there was a small patio, original concrete patio, and then they just like poured a cement flooring on top of that and put up the sides and the little roof and stuff. And we've had it mud jacked probably twice. And I mean, now it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, the best thing to do would be to tear it down, but I like being able to put my crap out there. So what am I going to do?
Maybe if you tear it down, then you would get rid of that crap.
No,
how about
I
that?
do that. No. No.
I don't know. And then Mother's Day, I needed to take Beast for a walk because the guys had been here for a few days and we hadn't gotten out. And I'm just like, let's go for a walk. But it was Mother's Day. So we went down to our typical Golden Clear Creek Trail. We get there and I was pleasantly surprised. We parked where we normally park. We park far away because Killian has a ramp. So I try and park far away from everybody so we're not obstruction to anybody else, and they don't get in my way either. Let's be fair. I don't want people getting in my way either when I'm trying to get him in and out of the car. So I was like, okay. So we go for this walk and everything. We start walking towards the start of the path, and I see this woman meeting her two friends, and she's got a very young but almost full grown Bernese mountain dog. You could just tell he was young. He was very excitable. And she had zero control of this dog. And I'm like, okie doke, we're going to hang back a bit and let them get away from us before. Cause I really thought the dog was going to knock her over. And I'm like, and then what happens? And then what happens when that, you're going to let go of that leash. And where's this dog going? So I'm like, nope. So we came to a dead stop and waited for them to go. In the meantime, this guy and his pit bull that he had total control over walked past us. And I said, you might want to give it a few minutes because that chick has zero control of her dog. And he's like, oh. So he even stopped, further away from Killian and me, but, kind of in between that woman and me. He started paying attention and she went down the stairs because there's a stairs and there's also like a, where you don't have to, like a switchback. We do the switch. Like, the stairs are open They're those metal stairs that
Oh,
don't.
yeah. Yeah.
Killian hates them.
Yeah.
Hates them. He
I don't
won't
blame him.
use them. And it's really, so the very first time we went there, I was like, let's go. And he's just like, And I'm like, all right, we'll go this way. So we do the switchback, which is fine. So it's great. I was like, good, you guys go down the stairs. We're going to go down the switchback. And that guy sat on a bench waiting for them to get down the stairs because he was going to go the stairs way. The rest of the walk was good. Everything was fine. We're coming back up. We're getting ready to leave. We're coming up the little switchback ramp. And I see it coming. I'm just like, oh, this isn't going to go well. And it's a family. And the girl, one of the young girls, again, probably, I don't know, 11, 12, I don't know, is holding the leash of their it wasn't a golden retriever, so that was the next one. Some type of dog. I don't know what kind of dog it was. Not overly big, probably a little bit smaller than Killian, but you could tell more energized than Killian. I mean, Killian's going to be 13. Let's give him a little bit of a break.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
But anyway, I could see it coming. I'm like, what are the odds that little girl is going to be able to hold on to this dog as we're walking by? And I don't think it had anything to do with Killian per se. I think the girl did something stupid and dropped the leash. The dad's pushing a stroller. The mom is, I don't know what the hell she was doing. And the dog beelined it to Killian. And I'm just like, I'm like, no. And nothing happened. And thankfully, there was another couple who had just started passing us when this happened. And the guy came over and grabbed that dog's leash to get him away from Killian. Like, again, nothing happened, but I'm like, anything could have just happened. Like, you got to use your heads, people. Like, you're in a crowd. It was and I didn't know that, but when we got back into the parking lot was jam-packed. All this free space that was near us. There was like 2 cars in our area. It was all spaces were complete. People were circling, trying to find spots.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like, oh, we are never coming down here on a weekend again. Definitely never on Mother's Day again. I don't know if it was a Mother's Day phenomenon. It was a beautiful day, or if it was really what the weekends look like. 'Cause we usually go during the week. So I'm just like, never again, Killian. We are never doing this again. And then we walked a little bit further. And again, another young girl is holding a young golden retriever. Her younger sister was running ahead of them. And then here comes the mother from, I don't know where the hell she was. She's like running down the path. And I'm just like, and there was no incident there either, but I'm like, people, you gotta use your heads. Dogs reacts. You never know when it's going to happen. I mean, sometimes you have an inkling, but for the most part, anything can set them off. Your most docile dog could become agitated from some vibe they get off of another dog that we as humans don't see.
Yeah.
You have to be cognizant. You have to be aware. And you have to use common sense. And to me, when you're in that crowded of an environment with multiple people, with people with strollers, people with, toddlers.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention other dogs, you know, and all that. I'm like, you as the adult need to be holding the leash and being responsible for your dog. That's your biggest unknown that's in your little pack. Your kids, they're a little bit of an unknown for sure. And if you want to throw them on a leash, I'm all for it. Knock your socks off. I don't care. But the dogs all need to be handled on a leash by a responsible adult that is paying attention. Kids are kids. They're not they're not thinking about that stuff. They're, just having a good time.
No.
So yes, we won't ever be going back on a weekend.
You said that people need to be responsible for their own dogs. I think that's part of the problem.
Oh, definitely.
No, people don't see beyond their own dogs. They see their dog. It's young, it's sweet, very friendly. He's friendly. He's friendly. But they never take into account that this dog coming from another direction could be an older dog. Who is kind of nervous about crazy youngsters chasing after him or running up to him without a leash on or a drop. So, just stop thinking beyond your own dog and start thinking about how this dog that you're approaching, how might react to this crazy juvenile you've got.
Right.
Or, whatever.
Yep. I'm always scanning the path. Like I'm never, I'm never just focused on Killian. Never. it's always what's coming. What do I see? I'm looking like, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
I see
yeah.
somebody coming. Do they have a dog? Is it on leash? Now I do have to say maybe once or twice I've actually witnessed a dog off leash on this path. Been on it many times. A couple of years now we've been going down there. So it's not new to us, but I do have to say 99.8% of the time the dog is on a leash. At least there's a leash involved.
Yeah.
Now, are the people smart? No. I watched this other people. This was last week sometime, or the week before maybe. This woman's walking with these two women are walking. One has a dog, and these other two women are coming. They each have a dog, and they decide they want the dogs to meet. So the dogs are all sniffing each other, and there was a skirmish. Killian and I stopped dead. We are like probably about 25 feet away from them. We stop dead, and they're trying to, they get the dogs separated, but they're still standing in the middle of the path, discussing what just happened. And I'm just like, and I'm standing there dead stopped. I'm like, we're not cutting through the middle of them. Those dogs are agitated now. There's no way. And I can't get around them any other way. So we just stopped. And they just looked at me like, oh, and they started moving to the sides. I'm like, until you guys move on, I am not budging. Sorry. And then we got closer, and the women that each had a dog are both like, oh, he's so cute with his dogs. I'm like, thanks. And we just kept going. And then we got up because we were walking faster than the two women that only had the one dog. And, but there was nobody coming the other way. So I got to do a nice wide berth and Killian on the left side of me as we walked around them to get around them. And they're like, oh, look at how cute his dog is. I'm like, thanks. And just kept going. I'm like, look, folks, my dog is coming nowhere near your dogs. Not a chance. I just witnessed that. There's no way. So I see that kind of stuff all the time. I'm always leery about it. I do have to say it's rare that somebody asks, oh, is it okay if they meet? I actually don't think we've been asked on this particular path. We've been asked other places. Oh, in my neighborhood, one guy asked me one time and I said no. There's no need. I don't know you. You don't know me. We're never going to see each other again. These dogs have no reason to meet. There's no reason for it. Sorry. They need to get along with Auntie Mary's dog. They need to get along with Auntie Bethy's dogs. They need to get along with Hayc's dog. My friends' animals, they need my neighbors from Netherlands, they all have dogs.
Yeah.
That's who Killian needs to get along with. That's who he's going to spend time with. That's who he's going to see the most. People, when we're on a walk, no, we're on a mission. We're on a walk. Killian needs to sniff his brains out, poop and pee all over the place, and I need exercise. He needs exercise too, but I probably need it more than him. So that's why we're there. We'll say hello to people. We smile. People comment on his doggles that don't have maniac dogs. We interact a little bit. Somebody took his picture the other day, which was very fun, or yesterday. It was very fun. So I'm not mean on the walk, but when I see dogs that are misbehaving for whatever reason, like I don't know what set them off. They were sniffing each other. Everything was fine 1 second, and then two of them just went at each other, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, I go on Nextdoor, that app, and there's always somebody talking about taking their dog for a walk and always running into somebody that their dog's not on a leash. And then when they confront them or they say your dog needs to be leashed, they just, either spout back some nasty comment or they say, oh, well, no, he's trained. And they're not usually really trained.
And it's for the safety of the dogs. I do not understand the aversion to people putting their dogs on leash. I do not get it. Why is that the cross to die on? I don't understand at all. It's like it takes 2 seconds. Are you just too lazy to train them on the leash? Is that the problem? They pulled a little bit and now you gave up and said, oh, they're just...
They want them to be free and to run through the field.
Go to a dog park. Where it's fenced in and then you know what you're getting. You know what I mean? You've made the decision now to take your dog to a dog park and take it off leash, and you're there to take responsibility for the consequences, if there are any, as a result of that environment. When we're out in public areas where there's a leash law, your dog should be on a leash. That's it.
I agree 100%.
That's
when
all
I
it
had
is.
my dogs, it could ruin a walk so quickly.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because in your neighborhood, when I took Killian up to
The
that
water
area.
tower?
Yeah, the water tower. That's it. Yeah. There was a couple of times people a dog was off leash running towards Killian. And I'm like, you got your dog? Oh, don't worry. They're friendly. I'm like, he's not. get your dog. Killian, of course. I don't know what he would do. I don't
Yeah,
think he would do anything, but who the hell knows?
like I say, if they see somebody chasing after them,
Hmm.
their first response could be defense.
Right.
So you just, you don't know.
Exactly. It's like, just make it safe for everyone and keep your dog on a leash. That's all there
And,
is.
we talked about being responsible for your own dog. And
Mhm.
we have just talked about before we started recording about the time I took my golden retriever,
Hmm.
Stanley, to Boulder would have these, what they call dog days. At the end of the swimming season, they would open up Scott Carpenter Pool for like 10 days or something.
Hmm.
And you could come in and let your dog swim. And it was wonderful.
Hmm.
Well, I happened to take Stanley there. I think it was on a weekend, and it was packed. It was packed. And Stanley started a fight with a German Shepherd,
Hmm.
and he started it. I don't know what the German Shepherd said to him, um, but boy, he got pissed. And we were invited to leave. That was it. We never went back again because I couldn't trust him after that.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because he loved it.
Yep. You just never
But,
know.
yeah.
And Stanley, a goofball golden retriever who was nothing but the sweetest thing, adorable.
Exactly.
He was a big boy, but he was
very big.
Adorable, super sweet, and never would have expected that when we went to that same park with you with Killian, and Auntie Mary and somebody else. Stanley was all about the pool. I mean, Killian was there, but I don't think Stanley even looked at him, to be quite honest with you.
I don't think so.
He was all the throw the whatever you were throwing into the pool for him, and he would go and get it, and he was having a blast. He loved it. So to hear that he, of all dogs, would have gone and he started the fight, like, what exactly? Like, you don't know what they're communicating with each other.
Yeah.
You just never know. So that's why I'm a big fan. Keep him on leash.
Maybe we can post the little video I have of him jumping and retrieving at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can post that on Instagram.
It was pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome, I got to say.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, while we're talking about dogs, I just wanted to raise the flag because, as I said on Nextdoor, I read that quite a bit. There's been a lot of comments about people and their dogs picking up ticks down here on not the mainland, but, down in the Front Range. And there's a lot of them that are commenting about it. So if you've got letting your dogs run off the trails and you're going off the trail, somebody said that they ended up they thought one fell from a tree onto their head. Just watch out. Have you ever has Killian ever picked any up that you've noticed? Oh, you keep him on the leash. He doesn't
I do keep him on a leash.
Grass.
I mean, I do let him sniff into grass and things like that, but he's on flea and tick medication. I mean, we don't, to be honest, this is only the second time ever he's been on flea and tick medication. The first time was when we went to Connecticut for the month, and I wanted to make sure because out there it's very prevalent. And he did have, I don't know if he had tick crawling on him, but I found ticks in the house at my parents' house, a couple, 3, over the month that we were there, but nothing that actually embedded into him because he was on flea and tick medication. He is now as well. Although I picked something out of him last night, and I'm not quite sure what it was. It was hard though, so I don't think it was. I don't know what it was, but it was. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't decipher that it was a tick. I mean, it didn't look like a tick. It was way too hard for it to be, and it wasn't big. It was pretty small, and so I don't know what exactly it was. Yeah, no, he's on the flea and tick medication because I had read similar reports. They were pretty prevalent this year, and it's been wet because we've had more snow and rain and all that, during the spring. So he's only going to be on it another month because then it'll come the dry season and it just won't be an issue anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're usually in the gross wet, like when we went to Wisconsin with Auntie Mary to Boyd's. Oh my God. Disgusting with ticks, just positively disgusting. Being in the woods like that, it would have been the same thing at my parents' house. My parents had woods. If we've spent any time in the woods, it would have been the exact same thing because we were there in the springtime. But come the late summer, midsummer to late summer and into fall. No, once it dries out enough, you're pretty safer, I guess I should say.
I remember in my ute, I used to love and I used to like walking in the woods and stuff like that. But I'll tell you now, when I watch a movie and I see like overgrown woods and
Hmm.
forests and stuff, right away I start thinking, ew, there's going to be ticks out there.
Well, I just don't think they were as prevalent because I mean, we were in the woods all the time growing up too, and I don't
Yeah,
remember my
yeah.
parents ever finding ticks on us.
I don't ever remember that either.
You know, and we had cats, and they were outdoor cats back then, and
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Wow.
remember. I don't
Wow.
remember there being a tick situation. Now the cats had flea and tick collars. You know those old
Oh,
the hearts
yeah,
collars.
yeah,
They
yeah.
had those. You know, but as kids, like I said, we were through those woods all the time, and I don't remember there being a tick situation. So I don't know what's changed. Climate has
It's
changed.
Armageddon. It's Armageddon.
Yeah,
Everything's
the ticks
going
are
to
taking
hell.
over. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. But you got
That and
a
hurricanes and yeah.
but you got a Mother's Day card?
Oh, well, I went to the mailbox and I see this card, this envelope, and it's from Oklahoma and it's to Auntie Joan. And I thought, who do I know in Oklahoma? Do I have a niece or a nephew that's moved down there? And I looked at the return address and it was from Stephen Stevens. And I don't know a Stephen in Oklahoma. Well, that prompted me. So I thought, who is this? Who is this that sent me this Mother's Day card? So right away I go inside and I open it up and it's from the blushing sky, Chris Munch. Somebody, Auntie, signed up and had him send me a special Mother's Day card. It made my day, my week,
I'm so glad.
my month.
Yes. I saw it advertised on the Instagram and I said, oh, if that is reasonably priced, Auntie Joan is absolutely getting one of these. And it was. And I was very happy to send it. And I thought for sure you were going to figure out that I was sending it to you. And
No.
yeah, so it was hard for me to keep that a
realize.
secret.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a card that he could, that you could just get him.
It was new for Mother's Day.
Ah,
That was new for Mother's Day. Yeah.
because he does have those personalized
Yeah.
greetings that he'll do,
Yes.
which are kind of expensive. But
Yeah.
oh, it's on my mantle. It's on my fireplace mantle.
Oh, lovely.
A place of honor.
Lovely.
Thank you, Auntie.
You're welcome, Auntie Joan. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I didn't like it. I loved it. And he even wrote a nice big message in there and everything.
Yes.
So,
Very cute.
yeah.
He said,
Mhm.
let me know. Let me know.
Blessings.
Blessings. And then the first moose of spring showed up at my house yesterday. It's the first moose since January 1st was the last sighting I've had at
Oh
the
my
house. It's been a long
gosh.
time.
It has.
And it's surprising considering there's been construction going on with the deck and everything that he even came by. I mean, they weren't here yesterday, the workers, but I just thought that I probably wouldn't see them until after all this was settled down again, maybe late June or something. But nope, he came yesterday morning and ate some grass and hunkered down, and he's shedding his winter coat, and he's got his just start of his antlers growing back. He's a
That's
young
pretty
one, though, so
awesome.
maybe his first antlers ever, actually.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, so they're just little stubs now. It's very funny. And then he came back last night to snuggle with the Yeti
Really?
in the yard.
That was last night?
That was last night. So yeah, twice in one
Oh,
day I had him come
wow.
by. It was very fun.
Could I just make one suggestion?
Sure.
You know that nice vacuum grooming thing you have for Killian? Maybe you could go out and use it on him for a little bit because it looks like he needs some help getting all that dead stuff out, old stuff fur out of him.
There you go.
He
There
looks
you go.
kind of ratty.
His coat will be shiny and beautiful like in another month.
Yeah.
They just
yeah.
have to shed their winter
Yeah.
stuff, and they
Well,
look
yeah,
gross. And
if
people
he-
always say they're infested with ticks. And I'm like, and they might be, but that's not what that is. That is actually
yeah.
them molting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe he could use a little help. So I'm looking through the old channel changer the other night, and I come across this 4 episode docuseries,
Oh,
the Judd family. truth be told, I decided I'd tune in, at least for the first episode. And of course, 4 hours later, I finished it. I happened to catch it. It was 2 episodes a night for 2 nights. So I happened to catch it Monday night. Yeah. So I got all 4 episodes at once. This was quite a surprising, I would call it an expose. It mainly featured, well, it had Winona and Ashley,
Mm-hmm.
the two daughters of Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they were kind of bad mouthing their mom, which I don't know. It just felt kind of icky. You remember the Judds. I remember the Judds.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked country and western, and I wasn't really a big fan of theirs either. But when I would see them on TV, on shows and stuff like that, there was something about them that would rope me in. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it was the contrast between Naomi, the mother, and Winona, the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, I was really kind of bitchy about that mother-daughter duo because I spent my whole life dealing with, never being pretty enough, never being thin enough and all that stuff. And so here I am, I sit in judgment on Naomi and Winona, wondering, first of all, which one's the mother and which one's the daughter? And why does the mother so much prettier than the daughter? And why doesn't the daughter try to keep up with the mother? And yeah, that was really pretty judgmental of me, I must say. I kind of feel bad about all that. The documentary has a lot of old photos, old movies. Obviously, Naomi came from a family that had some money. They weren't super wealthy, but they were definitely upper middle class at least. That was one thing that used to piss Winona off is, once they got big, Naomi would talk with her accent like, she's from the hills and all. She'd play all that up, but no, it wasn't true. And some of these videos, like when they had interviews together,
Mm-hmm.
as they were coming up, as they were getting popular, Naomi would start saying stuff, and you could just see Winona sitting next to her, just kind of rolling her eyes and like, what did you just say? It was just, I don't know, sad in a way. First of all, when somebody passes, I don't think it's necessarily in good standing to badmouth them. I mean, don't say anything. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. Okay. But I guess if that were the case, there would never have been this docuseries. But just the fact that Winona and Ashley were so open about her mothering, about Naomi's mothering skills, just kind of blew my mind. And they do go back into Naomi. And by the way, Naomi was born Diana Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi is not her real name. Never knew that. Winona was born Christina Claire. So when they started, I guess when they started to go into showbiz, Naomi decided Diana and Christina just weren't good enough. Maybe they didn't show the Hills type persona that they wanted. So yeah, they changed the names to Naomi and Winona. Ashley, I think she was always Ashley, but anyway.
But it's not uncommon for celebrities to change their names.
I just kind of thought it was interesting. I mean, I know that, yeah, they all, they changed their names, but I just, for some reason, it just surprised me. But
Mm-hmm.
so they go into Naomi's, upbringing and then her getting pregnant when she was like 17, 18, getting kicked out of the house. She went and lived at her boyfriend's parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up getting married. They went out to California. She gets pregnant again with Ashley. They get divorced. It's just, they talk about all that stuff. And then they talk about how Naomi worked so hard to get her and Winona, their careers going. And actually, supposedly, it started out, Naomi was working to get Winona's career going.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi originally wasn't planning to be part of it. So anyway, and then Ashley was kind of raised like a feral child. Once Naomi and Winona started building their career, Ashley was kind of left drifting. And she went and lived with her father in California first, but then according to what they said in the docuseries, he was taking LSD all the time and was, really never there for her. So yeah, she was just kind of a free range kid. But what surprised me the most was how easily they just kind of talked about how bad their mother was to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they tried to, say nice things too, but for the most part, I was just surprised they were so frank and forthcoming with their comments.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know much about them. I know of them, but I don't really know any of their music or anything like that. But I remember anytime they were on any kind of like awards show or talk show or whatever, I enjoyed listening to them banter and whatever, Naomi and Winona. But because they did always have a kind of like a little snappy
Oh, yeah.
relationship, I thought, in their,
Oh,
their
yeah.
talk show appearances. And Ashley, I really liked as an actress in the early
Hmm.
90s. She was Double Jeopardy, still a great movie
Hmm.
with Morgan Freeman. I mean, she was acting at a pretty high caliber, not for very long. She kind of disappeared from the scene,
Hmm.
probably before the 90s even ended, to be honest with you. So I don't even know if she was out there for more than 10 years before she decided. I mean, I guess I haven't seen anything that Ashley Judd has been in for a very long time. Did they say what she's doing now?
No. However, her physical appearance has changed so much. It almost looks like she's on steroids because her face is kind of puffy, and I think she does have some type of debilitating issue. They did talk about a bit about when Naomi was diagnosed with the hepatitis C also,
Mm-hmm.
and they thought she wasn't going to make it, but she just ended up getting cured of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Ashley Judd has something with her kidneys. Usually puffy face is indicative of kidney issues.
Oh, I don't know. I should look that up.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like she was the only one I mean I wouldn't even say I followed her, but I did enjoy
Mm-hmm.
going to see any movie she was in.
I liked her too a lot.
Yeah.
She was very pretty, but she was not a starlet type. You know what I mean? She seemed a more serious actress.
Right.
Yeah, she
agree.
didn't play on her looks so much. I didn't think she seemed more normal. It's kind of a sad story, You never know what goes on in people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, these people you envy and think they've got it all. Yeah, not true. Not true.
All right. What was the name of that again for our listener, Auntie Joan, and where can they watch it?
It was the Judd family, Truth Be Told. I think it was on Lifetime. Yes, yes.
All right, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to learn more about the Judd family and listen to these bratty girls trashing their mama after she passed. No, I'm just kidding.
Well.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It was I remember seeing them on like interviews too, Naomi and Winona, and them having this banter back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And through watching the docuseries, it's like they weren't just bantering. I mean, there was some underlying agitation going on there.
Yeah.
And I can see, Ashley, I just always kind of thought she had it all, because her mom and sister were these big deals, and then to find out she was just kind of like thrown out there, to take care of herself as a teenager. She was like 16 years old, and she was, that's when she went out to live with her father in LA, and the whole world in Naomi's life revolved around Winona getting that career going. So Ashley just kind of took a back seat for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah. Why should their lives be any different than the rest of us?
Right.
Yeah. So have you seen anything interesting lately?
Yes. So I was anticipating the release of Nonnas on Netflix, primarily because it had Vince Vaughn in it, and I hadn't seen him in something in a long time. Even though I re-upped my Apple Plus subscription, I know he's got a series out there that I've been dying to watch. I have not even broached that yet. I've been farting around looking at other stuff on Apple TV at this point. But anyway, it was on Netflix. It was a 2-hour movie, and I was like, all right, cool. I get to watch him. And I like Vince Vaughn the most when he's being funny. And I do. So I'm going to go ahead and start bashing Vince Vaughn a little bit. Sorry, folks. I do love my Vince Vaughn very, very, very much, but I do not like him when he plays a serious role. I do not think he's a good serious role actor. Unfortunately, I think his facial expressions, his timing of his lines and all that are just so contrived. I get very aggravated. He is so quick when he's doing funny.
Mhm.
He's on it. He's got it. He's just nonstop babbling, and it just comes out in this big babble, and it's fantastic. And there's so much shit in such a short period of time that you got to really like, what did he just say? Oh my God, what? Because he'll like have like 10 jokes in 2 sentences. It's amazing to watch him. I thoroughly enjoy that. But when he is being a serious actor, I just can't. So I assumed this was going to be more of a comedy. It was not. If it is a very touching story, it is a true story. I just wish it wasn't Vince Vaughn. And maybe I would have liked it better, to be quite honest with you. I just thought that was not the role for him to be cast in my opinion. I did not like it. So it's the synopsis from the YouTube on Nonnas' official trailer on Netflix says it's based on a true story. Nonnas is a heartfelt celebration of the love of food, family, and all ingredients of life. There's lots of stars in it. Vince Vaughn is not the only one. Susan Sarandon is in it. Lorraine Bracco's in it. Linda Cardellini, Joe Manganiello, Drea De Matteo. Scott Campbell has a cameo in it as a food critic. I mean, there's lots of people in this movie. And I thought they all did pretty well. I didn't find much of the joking going on. So what the premise is after the real life person, I forget, Joe Scaravella or something like that, loses his mother, Joe Scaravella loses his mother. He risks everything to honor her by opening an Italian restaurant with a group of local grandmothers as the chefs. So again, this restaurant truly does exist in Staten Island. You can go to, it's only open a few days a week. So do pay attention to that. We'll have the link out there, and there's certain seating times. It's not where you can, but you must have a reservation. They will not let you in the door without one. And they do grandmothers from all over the world. So there's people from Sri Lanka, there's Italian, there's Greece, I forget, they tell you, you can go onto their website and it'll tell you who's coming or which nationalities are going to be represented in the restaurant. And it's all cooked by grandmother. So it's supposed to give you that feeling of having your home cooked meals done by your grandmother. Back then, my grandmother on my mother's side and my father's side, both were amazing cooks. I still, to this day, am just in awe of this painstaking efforts they went through to make really good holiday meals or even just regular Sunday meals. Everything was just done very, very well and methodically and labor intensive, like nobody's business. And you're just like now I'm just like, this thing's going to take me more than 15 minutes to put together. I'm not making it. Like, and my grandmother used to slave over the stove for hours, days, when it was holiday time and stuff like that, between baking cookies and preparing vareniki, which is pierogi, you know them as pierogies, and potato pancakes and the roasts and all the fixins to go with that. And my mother would help too. And of course I did, but I was much younger, so I helped, as best I could. But I didn't learn all the recipes like I should have. My cousin really took pride in learning all that stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, he has most of the recipes, I think, and is doing, does them periodically. Although for this past Easter, he didn't post any pictures of Easter bread. Pascha is what we called it. I didn't see any pictures, and he's got all the rabbit molds that have like the raisin for the eye and all that stuff. And yeah, he inherited all that stuff. So anyway, I love the idea of the restaurant. I love the idea of this movie. I love the idea that they told the story. I hope that it boosts their revenue at that restaurant. I think it's a great concept. I love it. I just did not love the movie, unfortunately. And I just thought that, and the food that they prepared, they burned a sheep's head at one point, was just hysterical, and it reeked and all that. And very silly. It just didn't hold me, unfortunately. And I do think it had a lot to do with Vince Vaughn's performance, unfortunately.
Oh.
I really do. That was my take.
I didn't mind him in that, but then I don't have this lust for him in comedies.
Him in Old School, he was just on it. Dodgeball is one of my favorites, and he was more of the straight man in that one, but still hysterical. Starsky and Hutch, they're so funny. And he's so good at that. He's just so good at that. Swingers was supposedly a good movie. I don't think I've ever seen it. That was really Vince Vaughn's debut into, he was an actor before that, but that was really his debut as a well-known comedic actor in Swingers. But Fred Claus was his attempt at, and they were hoping Fred Claus was going to be the next Elf. That movie was so bad, I can't even describe it. It was so bad. And that even had Paul Giamatti in it as Santa. And it was still bad. It was terrible. The story was terrible. Vince Vaughn's performance in it was terrible. No offense, Vince. I do love you. I swear I do. But in comedies. And it's not that this was not, a serious movie. It was about Santa Claus and Fred, he was I think the son, nephew, something of Santa Claus. So he's Fred Claus is the name of the movie. Or maybe it was supposed to be his brother. I honestly don't even remember. It was that bad. I saw one and done and I'll never see it again.
Isn't that the one you walked out of? Or
I did not walk out. No. That was this year. That was that.
Yeah.
The Rock, Dwayne, The Rock Johnson movie this year. That was terrible. That is the one I walked out on. Yes. No, this was years ago that Fred Claus came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was just so bad. So bad. But he was trying to play a serious role. I can't do it with Vince Vaughn. But the surprise character in it that I was like, he does look a little bit different, but as soon as he talked, I was like, oh my God, I know exactly who that is. And I had to look it up to be sure I was correct. And it was Michael Rispoli. He was Joe Jr. in While You Were Sleeping. And I love that. Is on my Christmas rotation. Every single Christmas I watch While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock and Greg Pullman. Greg Pullman? Not Greg. Something Pullman. The guy who played the president in Independence Day. I forget his name. But anyway, I watch that every single Christmas. And as soon as he talked, I'm like, oh my God, it's Joe Jr. Is it Joe Jr.?
Who does he play in the?
He played that vendor that was at the farmer's market or the market that didn't want anybody to go to that restaurant. Yeah. That's Michael Rispoli. And I looked up to try and get his character's name. I couldn't find it anywhere. I could not. And I'm like, I'm not going back to watch this movie just to get his name. So I didn't bother. But I tried. I tried just going to his IMDb page. It says he's in the Nonnas, but it does not say his character's name on the Nonnas, list of cast.
Yeah.
Nothing. Doesn't say his, I'm like, I don't know what his name was in that movie, but he's definitely in it. And it was hysterical. I enjoyed seeing him. That made me happy.
He had lines too.
He did. Oh yeah. He talked.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I don't know why I couldn't find his character's name. I'm sure they said it in the movie. I just didn't remember it. So it was nice seeing him because I do I love the Joe Jr. character in While You Were Sleeping. Just a doof. He's Joe Jr. He's, I own this place. It's just, I can't get enough of him. I thought he was hysterical. Anyway, so it was good to see him.
Well, it was nice to see Talia Shire too.
I don't know who
played
that is.
The former nun. She
played I didn't Rocky's, like her at all.
She played Rocky's
girlfriend. Oh, she's Adrian. Oh, she was terrible in this.
Oh,
I thought.
She was. Yes, it was just, and when
awful.
I saw the name and I thought, I know she's been in movies, but I couldn't place what movie she was in. And then I looked it up just now and she was Rocky's girlfriend, Adrian. Yeah, no, that was kind of
I like the idea of that character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was an interesting premise, but the acting was atrocious.
Yeah,
sorry, Talia. My opinion. Nobody listens, so it doesn't matter. But that is my opinion. I thought it was terrible acting.
Yeah, I didn't think she was too good either, but
she was too
like it was too wimpy and
just her hands flailing, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it overact. I don't know what she was trying to portray. I just no.
Okay. Now I like the movie, and like I said, I'm not a Vince Vaughn fan in the comedies. I don't watch most of those comedies that you like to watch, but I liked him in it. In a way, he kind of reminded me of my younger brother. I wasn't bothered by his acting or timing or anything at all in it.
So when they're at the end, when he's looking at his girlfriend, and he's just standing there staring, and they just I'm like, end this. Like, I wanted to scream. He had this
it didn't bother me.
Quirky little smile on his face, and he's just staring, and I'm like, you gotta give me, and I just couldn't.
No, it didn't bother me. I loved watching the scenes where they were cooking the food. You know what? I've realized I like watching food prep now.
It's delicious.
I'm kind of hooked on American Test Kitchen.
Yeah.
What is the other one that they do with the country cooking? Yeah, country cooking, I think it's called. It's the same people, but they just they do recipes from different parts of the country. Yeah. So I like that. Susan Sarandon's character, I mean, that to me was perfect. I liked the way the old ladies kind of got together and showed the sisterhood. Sisterhood lasts your whole life. And it's too bad when we're young and we're all about finding our mate and getting married and all this other, some of us, that we kind of discount our sisters, our fellow women. It's just, you see, when you get to be that age, that they're what counts. They're the ones that are still there for you. Like the one, her kids don't talk to her. And I like the camaraderie between the women. I like the way it started with them kind of bashing each other.
Bologna and Sicily.
Sicily, yeah. Yeah. And Susan Sarandon comes across at first as this, what's the word for it?
Slut.
Yeah, as an older slut. And then showing her bazongas around and everything. And then when the ladies get together and they finally let their hair down, kind of comes out. So
figuratively and literally.
Yeah. But that was touching, I thought. So like I say, you never know what people are going through.
You're absolutely right. And it is a very, very touching movie. There were quite a few times where I did tear up and all that. It just wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be. I expected it to be not necessarily slapstick like those other movies I mentioned with Vince Vaughn in them, but just more comedic. And it was not that. The acting parts of it bugged me. Susan Sarandon's character, she's still Susan Sarandon, but I also think she's done better in roles than that too. And Lorraine Bracco, honestly, I thought she was what she's always been, in my opinion. She always plays like a harder edged female leadish character, depending on what she's in. Loved her in Goodfellas, The Sopranos, all that stuff. She's Lorraine Bracco. In my mind, she can do no wrong. But she had some quirky lines that were just, kind of fell flat, in my opinion. So I don't think the writing on it was as good as it could have been. Maybe. I don't know. So many good people in it. Joe Manganiello, like that could have been anybody. It did not need to be Joe Manganiello. Like, I don't know. Good that he was in it, I guess. Definitely different in his Magic Mike stuff.
Yeah, see, I never watched any of those movies, and they're just.
But Linda Cardinelli, I do like her. I first saw her.
I do too.
Right? I first saw her in Bloodline way back when, and Dead to Me most recently with Christina Applegate. Great actress. Love her.
Yeah.
This fell flat for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, granted, it wasn't Oscar contending.
No.
Writing or directing or anything, acting or anything. But I think it was a cute, heartfelt movie.
Yep.
It
definitely was. It definitely pulled at the heartstrings for sure. I agree.
I like seeing Brenda Vaccaro again.
I don't know who that is.
She was one of the.
She was the Bologna chick.
Yeah. she had been married to Michael Douglas Jr. years and years and years ago.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And
I even remember her.
I thought Drea De Matteo's same character she always plays. Like it's like there's no reach there whatsoever. So it's good. It was solid. It's what you expect from her. So I didn't have a problem with it. I was just like, okay, she's definitely typecast.
Yeah.
But in it, like I said, in a good way. I don't mind it.
I just wonder. I mean, are Italians still like that? I wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been to Little Italy in a long time.
When I first moved to White Plains, I worked with a woman her family was originally from Sicily, and then they immigrated to Canada and then down to the United States. Now, she was in her early 20s like I was then. So I don't know if she was born in the United States. But anyway, she was Sicilian first. She was Italian second, and she was an American third. And I learned so much about the Italian way of life back then, because if anybody got married in my family, it's like a big deal to give them a set of sheets. Or you go to the department stores where they have their registration and you get them something out of that. That was a big deal. No.
Cash.
No. Well, that's an addition to. But she was talking about going to showers, and they were giving like these big, huge, humongous gifts. Yes, I think like refrigerators and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, and I think I said, my gosh, what do you give for the weddings? And yeah, it was the big cash. Big
Envelopes of
cash.
cash. Yep.
Yes, yes. But I wonder if it's still like that. I suppose it is in some families, but
Yes, very heartwarming. And Scott Campbell, I thought him as the food critic that Vince Vaughn's character goes and sees. Yeah, I just
what
thought
is he in?
he was in a lot of things.
Oh,
He's been around a long time. Dying Young is one of my favorite movies of his with Julia Roberts. He was in Singles back in the day. He's been in more recent stuff too, and more cameos than actual lead actor roles, except for Dying Young. He was the lead in that. Really liked him. He was in, is it called Dead Again? I don't know. Anyway, he just had a quick cameo in that one too. But yeah, his performance fell flat for me too. Like all of it just kind of, other than Lorraine Bracco and Drea De Matteo, I thought everybody was just kind of eh. And I got what I expected out of those two, And I was just like, meh. But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did.
I think if you go into it without any preconceived notions and just take the story for what it is, you'll like it a lot better. If you're not familiar with Vince Vaughn's comedic roles, you'll probably be okay with his performance as Antie Joan was. I love the story. I love that it's a real rest. It's in Staten Island, folks. You just take the free ferry over from New York.
Is that free?
It is
still?
free. Staten Island Ferry is free.
Wow.
You do have to walk about a 7-minute walk. It is uphill to get to the restaurant. You can drive it, but it's like 40 minutes when you can just take the ferry and be over there in 2. So I wouldn't recommend doing the drive from Manhattan, but make a reservation. We'll have the links out there so you guys can take a look at all that. And of course, a link to the movie if you want to watch it on the Netflix.
Yeah, one of my cousins watched it, and she was very disappointed because she thought it was going to be a comedy. So I'm really not that aware of what their marketing was that would cause someone to be so misdirected. But anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a comedy. It had some light moments, but it had some serious ones too. So,
All right, folks. So yeah, that's Nonnas on Netflix. Help yourselves.
I still enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, Auntie Joan, anything else for our listener today?
No, I think I'm done.
All right, then that wraps it for yet another wonderful Pickled Watermelon Rinds episode. This is Auntie signing off.
And Antie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.